trends that I used to hate that have officially grown on me is what we're going to talk about in this video. And hate is a strong word, so let's just say trends that I just never thought would look good on me, or I just didn't really like for whatever reason, and I either ended up trying it or I saw it styled a bunch of different ways that made me change my mind about it. And some of these have been included in my little anti-hauls that I've done in the past. So this is why I always give a disclaimer in those videos. I always say never. Just because I don't like something today doesn't mean that I won't like it in the future if I try it or if I see it styled some new refreshing ways that make me change my mind. So yes. So cropped pieces is something that I didn't necessarily hate, I just didn't think I could pull off a couple of years back until I tried them and ended up falling in love with them more and more. Like the more that I tried them, the more I ended up loving them, because on my specific body type, it kind of just accentuates one of my favorite parts about myself. And that is something that I really encourage everybody to do. Figure out what is your asset, like what is your favorite body part about yourself, and show it off. Because if you don't do it now, when are you gonna do it? You know, like when are you going to accentuate the parts of your body that you're very proud of or that you really like? When you're 90, you know, and there's nothing wrong with doing it when you're 90, but like live your life. So yeah, I think that you can still be very intentional with your shopping and selective and have a curated wardrobe and still try things out. You know, even if they're trends that you didn't necessarily think would work for you before, if you keep gravitating towards it and seeing it styled a bunch of different ways that now you're kind of changing your mind about it, don't be afraid to do it. So yeah, cropped pieces, now I love them, especially because I like high-waisted trousers that like cinch me right at the waist. Chunky sandals. In general, honestly, you guys know I love my flip-flops by the row. Flip-flops, like I never thought that I would be able to like pull off wearing like these chunky flip-flops. And now they're seriously, I think they're my most worn sandal for the spring and summer. Even like well into fall, because again, I live in a hotter climate. But one that I really didn't think I would give into, that I ended up giving into, are dad sandals. So I saw dad sandals styled so many different ways, and I slowly ended up changing my mind about them. And not all of them, like there's still some that I'm not crazy about, but let me just show you. You guys know where this is going, don't you? So I got these, and they are not everybody's cup of tea. I know that people hate it, and I know that they're ugly. I'm not saying they're not, okay? But you know how sometimes you see a dog or something and you're like, it is so ugly. It is cute. That is me with this. That is me with these sandals, okay? These are the Chanel dad sandals. I love them. They were sold out, and I ended up getting them when they came back in stock in my size through a personal shopper. So, yeah, dad sandals. They're like the type of sandal that roughen up very like feminine looks. And if you guys know me, like I do like my dresses and stuff like that, but there was just something about dresses, like every time I would put a dress on, I would just take it off because I just thought it looked too girly. Like there was just something about it that wasn't like true to me. Like it wasn't as casual as I wanted them to be. And I wore my chunky flip-flops from the row so much, and you know, my chunky Proenza Birkenstocks and my Birkenstocks, you guys know how much I love those shoes. They're my most worn sandals, but they're all mules, like they didn't have a back strap. And I just think that the back strap makes it so much cuter with dresses, specifically like shorter dresses. I think that this is just gonna open up an entire new horizon for me in terms of styling. So I'm really excited for that. So yeah, I'll try to link as many dupes as I can in the description, as well as everything that I've talked about so far. So be sure to check that out. in my anti-haul video that I talked about dad sneakers, I think I included the Balenciaga very like dramatic dad sneakers. And while I like them now sort of like aesthetically, like they look really cool, I don't think I would ever buy them because they're just too much. But I've always loved sneakers. Okay, ever since I was in middle school, like I've always been very, very, very into sneakers. It's just that recently I've been a little bit more into dad sneakers. So I have my New Balances, which I really love. I have my Asics, which they're pretty much all that I wear to the gym and to work out. And I also, whenever I'm dressing sporty, they're the ones that I throw on. And another thing that I like about them is that they also look really cute with like skirts and dresses. Again, just like the chunky sandals, the chunkier sneakers or the dad sneakers, they also bring this sort of like contrast to very girly looks that I really love. So for like the summer and the spring, I gravitate towards my chunky sandals. And for the fall and the winter, I gravitate towards my chunky sneakers. I have recently grown to love like cycling shorts or just leggings that are kind of cropped. There's something that, again, I didn't really think would look good on me or I could pull off, or I just thought they would look too sporty. But I have been very into like the whole sporty chic vibe. I think the pandemic just changed me. It changed a lot of people, but it really influenced my style. It brought out things that I didn't know I needed. You know, like I love to dress very casually, but I just didn't have certain combinations in my wardrobe, like certain pieces in my wardrobe that I can combine with more elegant pieces to kind of make these little hybrid casual chic looks. Bralettes, believe it or not, or like these bandeau tops, but mostly bralettes because I just thought they looked like bras. So there is a specific type that I prefer more than others. I like the knitted ones or something that looks a little bit more interesting than a regular bralette because it can still look like a bra. But even if it does, I think that if you pair it with like some nice flowy trousers or like wide leg trousers that cinch you very high up at the waist, and you can throw something over top like a cropped button down or a regular button down, I think it looks good. You can throw a sweater over your shoulders or put it underneath a cardigan, or, you know, just play around with different textures and stuff. And I think that you can definitely make it look really good. And again, this is just something that I saw styled a bunch of different ways, and I started playing around with myself, and I ended up liking it, especially with bandeau tops. I usually stay away from strapless things in general because I just have broad shoulders, so they can look very like super broad when I wear things that are strapless. But recently I have just styled them a bunch of different ways, and I have grown to love them. So as somebody who has thicker thighs, I always thought that if I purchased pants or trousers that were wide leg or oversized or just bigger than what I would normally get, which was a lot tighter, I always thought it would just make my thighs look worse. You know, it would just make things look bigger. And even though it kind of does, it actually balances my body out. So I talk about how I size up now and everything, and if I have to go and take in the waist, I do, because I just like the overall fit that it gives me more. So yes, it does make my legs look skinnier when I wear something that's a little tighter, but my body is not as balanced as when I wear something wide leg or oversized, or when I shop in the men's section for trousers or for jeans. So now, more often than not, I'm going up a size in almost everything that I buy for the bottom. And I don't even go by like my waist size measurement anymore. I usually go by my hip measurement, or I even go up. You know, I wear all types of pants, but in terms of what I didn't like before that I like now, definitely menswear, trousers and jeans, or just like oversized or just wider, bigger fitting bottoms. I purchased these last year, These are the Prada chunky loafers. And this is the first time that I ever looked at a loafer and I was like, I like that one. I need that one. Again, I think it's the chunkiness. I also really like this. Like, it kind of reminds me of Doc Martens. Like, I love the chunky detail of these. I just prefer a chunkier version of a loafer. I don't know what it is. I think, again, it's the fact that it makes it more wearable, in my opinion. It has a little bit of like a heel. It just looks like you can like run in these, you know? And again, I'll put dupes because there's a bunch of dupes for like chunky loafers. But I think that they're so much more wearable. They are very like leprechaun-y, for sure. But I like them. So yeah, Gucci couldn't get me to purchase loafers, but Prada did. So yeah, loafers aren't necessarily a trend. Definitely a staple, for sure, in my opinion. But I think chunky loafers are a little bit more of a trend, and I still gave in to it. Okay, so I can feel your eyeballs rolling through the lens already, but hear me out. Hear me out. I don't like all clear shoes or all PVC heels, specifically heels, until I saw these. I purchased these a couple of years ago when like they first came out, but I think Cult Gaia, this brand, I think they still make these or something similar. And I will say, I usually don't like things when like the first version of it comes out. I end up liking things when a designer or somebody really creative gets that and makes it different or unique or, you know, a little cooler. So that's what this brand did when they made these little shoes, which look like this. Very simple. Love what they used for the sole. My feet surprisingly don't get that sweaty. I love the heel, and I'm not crazy about sphere heels either, but I love this shoe. This is my favorite heel. And if you could only pick one heel to purchase that'll go with everything, it is these kinds of heels. Okay, if you like something that has a taller heel, because these are a little shorter, I prefer shorter heels. They have these kinds of shoes with a higher heel. I think they came out with something that has a higher heel, just like this. I'll try to link it down below. But this is something that I hated before. Like, I hated this trend. I couldn't wait for it to be over, but it didn't leave. And some designers just did what they do with it. So those are all of the trends that I had once said I wouldn't try or that I didn't like for whatever reason, and they ended up growing on me and I gave in, and now I love them. So I'm interested to know if you guys have any trends that you previously hated and now they grew on you, or you ended up trying them and you love them. What are they? Leave me a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.